past week, we read the book of Isaiah, and we read quite a number of chapters. We read from chapter 13 through chapter 57. And so it's a lot, and I had to put down my notes, so I might be looking them from time to time. And the book of Isaiah is actually a very good book. I enjoy the book. It's a book that talks about the future. It tells us about what is going to happen to the children of Israel. And of course, it tells us about our future technically. And so I like the book of Isaiah because like I said last week, it's a loaded book. It covers everything. It talks about how the oppressed will be set free. It talks about how the righteous need to live. It talks about the things we need to do and the things we don't need to do. It talks about several things. And it also speaks about the coming of the Messiah. It speaks to how we need to live righteously. And one of the things I also find in Isaiah is that it's a book that is filled with a lot of prayer points. So if you are not able to find something to pray about, or you want to pray for someone, the book of Isaiah is a very good place to go to, because it talks about praying for the oppressed, for the depressed, praying for the sick, and all that. And then in chapter 7, he also gives us an assurance that God answers prayers. Chapter 37 is actually when Hezekiah received a letter. Hezekiah received a letter from the king of Assyria, I think. And then he said to him that he was going to destroy him and all that. But Hezekiah took the letter to God. And he asked God that God should please deliver them. And of course, God delivered the children of Israel from the king of Assyria. And that means that God does answer prayers. So it's an assurance that God answers prayers. And then in chapter 41, that actually just encourages us again that we should bring our strong reasons to God. And one of the strong reasons I take to God is that God said that his thoughts towards us are the thoughts of good and not of evil, to bring us to an expected end. And I always tell God that I know that his expected end for us is good. And I'm assured that he will do the right thing. And I also remind God that he said his words will not return to him void, but they will go forth and prosper in that which he has sent it to do. And God is a faithful God. When we remind him of his words, we just ask him to do what he has said he will do. And then when we get to chapter 43, that is actually a very good prayer chapter. That's what I call it. It's filled with a lot of prophecies in chapter 43. In chapter 53, it talks about by the stripes of Jesus we are healed. That's an assurance that we are healed by the stripes of Jesus. And then in chapter 44, that's actually another prophecy. It's a prophecy that is good for prayers as well. I encourage you to read it again. Then in chapter 57, there's something funny there. Chapter 57 verse 21 says, "There is no peace for the wicked, says the Lord." When I say that Isaiah is loaded and that the book of the Bible is complete, that's what I mean. God himself said, for the wicked, there's no peace. So I encourage you, continue to read along with me. I hope you are being blessed as much as I am being blessed. And sorry, this is a long one, but the book of Isaiah is loaded. I pray and hope that you have a blessed week.